guess I'm a little bit disappointed in our performance, but I'm really more disappointed in my coaching. I could kind of tell before the game that I didn't have them completely where they needed to be, because that team can make you look bad on defense. The little guy's great at getting in your lane and fanning the ball out, and they got some guys that can make shots. We were darn lucky that Alexander fouled out. He was torching us, and so just disappointed in that I didn't have us at a better level to do what we needed to do tonight to play better, and we got the job done, and I thought we did do well defensively in stretches, but second half was really kind of abysmal, and then they got on a roll and started making shots, and so anyway, nice to live to tell about it. Ryan Luther managed to really impact the game in other ways other than scoring tonight, which was nice. He did not have a good night offensively, but he was terrific on the boards and defensively. So.
What was your side of the technical in the second half, and what would you say that caused the technical?
I was acting like an idiot. I deserved the technical. So I just said what, but it wasn't really what I said. It was sort of how I said it. So I deserved the T. And I did think it was a clean block, though. But I'll have to see the film before I'll know on that. But he was absolutely right in giving me the technical. He's a good official.
You guys had, I think, 3 straight games where you held opponents under 70 points, shooting under 40%. What did you see? And you were on that pace in the first half. What did you see that didn't go right in the second half?
Well, what was different is they got, the little guy got loose and started getting inside of our defense and kicking out, and our pick and roll coverage broke down a number of times, and in some cases we just didn't close out hard enough to guy. I mean, it was a different breakdown each time, but that, I mean, and then they get their heads up, and then they start playing in flow and in rhythm, and then you can have some problems. We weren't locked in defensively in the second half, and again, I take responsibility for that.
You had said, Kevin, that your team wasn't where you needed them to be, or you can sense that they weren't where you needed them to be going into the game. Where do you feel like they were, and was there
our team has to have an incredible edge about it to have a chance to be the team that we really want to be, and I mean, it wasn't that we didn't play hard. We played hard, but we just weren't on edge, and we were on edge Friday night. We were on edge. We had an edge to us, and it didn't let up for 40 minutes, and I could tell tonight we didn't really have that kind of an edge, and Ryan was playing all sped up on offense and off balance, and it just, there's just something about when you're in that right frame of mind, things tend to happen a little bit more smoothly, and everything was difficult for us tonight, and it was just we just weren't locked in in that space that we really need to be, and again, we played hard, we tried hard, we killed them on the boards. There are lots of things that we did that showed that we played with effort, but I just didn't think that our emotional, we just weren't emotionally on point like we have to be a really good team.
Stretched the 47-34 lead second half, and then they start clawing back. What is it? When the teams start fighting back like that, it's happened in other games where they can't recollect themselves and kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to the bench, and our defense broke down, and we had a couple of turnovers, and it just kind of, the game just kind of gets scattered on you, and like I said, it's not just in one spot. It might be defensively, then it might be in ball care, then it might be a bad shot or whatever, and so we're just a young team that's trying to figure it out, and what we do show is enough poise to finish the job, and that's encouraging with a group this young, and we did a pretty good job making our free throws in the overtime, and so like I said, it's nice to be able to live and tell about it after a victory, but I thought we could have played much better.
Cam shooting some, probably after tonight, he'll probably be shooting over 60% for the season. Did you expect him when you first, when you first signed him, when he first got here? Did you expect him to be this kind of an effective offensive player?
I didn't expect him to maybe make the 3-point shots at the level that he's making them at. Cam's contribution to us tonight was on the defensive end. He gave their little guy problems and blocked a couple of his shots, and his length. Cam's an excellent defender, and so his presence out there was really good from a defensive standpoint. And if he had knocked those 2 free throws in, he would have. I mean, not that he didn't have a good night offensively anyway, he did, but yeah, he can make open shots, and he's becoming a better attacker of the goal, which is nice to see too.
Is it encouraging to see Marcus kind of take control of those late game situations, hit the layup, I guess 25 seconds left in regulation? He's the guy getting the line at the end of overtime.
Yeah, Marcus is a take charge guy, and he has some ability, so it's nice to see and nice to have. I did think that we late in the game, even the last possession that he barely missed the 3 there to win the game. I thought we kind of got into a I'm going to do it myself mode. Marcus and Jared and Shamil, I think they all kind of took turns doing things that, if anything, that we've got to do things as a team, and we can't lose sight of that. And again, we have to have a constant awareness of who we are, and maybe at the same time a constant awareness of who we're not. And but we did make some good individual plays. Marcus made some. Jared got to the hole and got fouled, so like I said, it's good if we're in this situation. It's good that we live to tell about it and we executed well enough to get a victory.
Only 2 points tonight. What went wrong for Ryan Williams?
Well, he had 4, but he just was playing the game off balance. He was just pivoting himself out to off balance, and instead of taking kind of easy shots and what the defense was giving him, he kept trying to get closer to the goal, and he just kept getting himself off balance and taking himself out of a good shot. And he just didn't have any rhythm or any flow going. Like I said, he still managed to make a huge impact on the game with 16 rebounds and excellent defense, and that's what a senior does for you. He doesn't let a bad night offensively affect his entire game.
When the shots were falling for Matt Seniors the way that they did in the second half, and they were going on that run, they cut into your own slate. How much does a run like that? How much more does it kind of snowball when you have such a young and inexperienced team?
Well, I think that what happens is when lots of teams have good players, and this team has good players. Their point guard is really good, and so when they start making shots, then they start feeding off his energy, and he starts making passes, and they do a good job of stretching you out in their offense. They get you in pick and roll, 2 or 3 times a possession sometimes, and if you don't play it well on the first pick and roll, and they get you behind or they get you off balance or out of position, now they're pretty good about keeping you out of position, and so I'm not sure. Again, I'll have to look at the tape, and we just didn't. Like I said, it just all goes back for me to we didn't have the edge that we have to have in order to be a good team. And we had enough of an edge to win, but we didn't have the edge that we have to be our very best.
What differences did you see in Wilson's frame between the first half and the second half? And did you say something to him, or was it just him?
No, I think in the second half, I think that he took pleasure out of making his teammates better. He made some plays for teammates, and that got him going. I think a lot of times guys that are natural scorers like he is, when they're not scoring, they start trying to play the game in a different way to where they're forcing the game or doing something individually. And he didn't really try to do that in the first half, but I know he wasn't pleased with how things went for him in the first half. But then at the start of the second half, he made a couple of really good passes to guys for open shots, and then all of a sudden things started happening for him. And that's the way the game works. As soon as you lose yourself into your team, then things will happen better for you. And as long as you're sitting there focused on what's going on for you, it's probably just going to continue to get worse. That's just my experience in the game. And I thought in the second half he did a really good job of making sure his teammates got better, and then all of a sudden things started working for him.
This performance, you got to win out of this, but I know things are going to be very, very different come Saturday night.
Yeah, I would imagine they will be. We'll see about that. That's I hear they're a pretty good team, so we'll see.
How much is Cam getting on the mend from his heel injury, do you think, affecting his play of late?
Well, he's looks way better than he did Friday night. He looked way better tonight than he did Friday night. He had tweaked his knee. Actually, the heel's been pretty good. He tweaked his knee in practice on last Tuesday. Didn't think we were going to have him Friday night. He played well under 100%. And tonight he looked like he was healthy again, which, it's a huge difference for him, and huge difference in terms of his just his mobility and the way he plays defensively.
It was a plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis with the heel, yeah, and the knee. I'm not sure what happened.
How much does playing a pressing team like this before a pressing team like West Virginia benefit the team and get them really in that mindset to combat that?
I would think that the experience would be helpful, because this was like having a practice, if you will, where you were being pressed. Yeah, and now don't get me wrong, I don't think that the pressure is quite the same. So we'll figure out what we can do to deal with that the next few days in practice.
Have you thought about how you're going to use Cameron defensively against a team with a number of offensive threats?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get him to guard all 5 of them. No, I mean he'll guard who he guards, and he'll do hopefully a good job on him, and other guys will do a good job on the guys they guard. I mean it's a team game. One guy's not going to do it for you. Everybody's got to play together to get it done.
Kevin, what can you do to get the edge back, or what can the players do?
I don't think it's something, Jerry, to get the edge back. I think it's just they're not going to be at the same emotional peak all 30 times they play. Sometimes it's going to be higher, sometimes it's going to be really high, sometimes it's going to be moderate, which I would say that's probably where we were tonight, kind of in a moderate mode. And we're not good enough to be less than our very best and ready. It's not about getting the edge back. It's probably more learning how to win a game that they really wanted to win, and then bounce back and play another game against somebody that maybe doesn't, it doesn't ring your bell in terms of a name, but they obviously have good enough offensive players to hurt you. So we'll continue to play with an edge. I just didn't do a good enough job of making sure that we were as on edge as we needed to be for tonight.
This is the second time in the past 3 games you'll face more of a pressing team and seem to kind of struggle at times with. What do you think about what St. Mary's did give you guys some problems?
I feel like kind of just like the other times, it was really about us. Not to downplay them, they played hard as a team for sure, but I feel like we kind of just got to keep on working on it. I mean, we do a good job in practice with a lot of things, and we have to do a better job of translating that and a bunch of other things into the game so we could play better.
You guys gave up, I think it was a 13-15 second half lead. What went wrong in the second half, or what were you guys struggling with that kind of enabled them to come back like that?
I think we just stopped playing hard for real. It was just an effort thing. We get coached on effort. We say to each other that if we have effort every game, then we won't have to worry about those things. So just staying locked in. I think we had a little mental lapse, and that was it.
You think there's effort at times, like in the first half, like it's like spurts, and you kind of have to figure out how to keep it consistent?
I think we just have to mentally tell ourselves to keep it consistent. I think when we're trying and we're locked in, actually focused, there's no turning back from it. Nobody really gets out of it. But when a couple people do, it's a whole team thing. So it's really all of us staying in together.
Jared, what was different for you in the second half?
I started attacking. Their defense, they were kind of running and jumping. So I just kind of was trying to find gaps and make plays for my teammates. And when I started doing that, it started opening up for myself. So.
For someone like you, Jared, who typically scores at a pretty good pace, I mean, what's that feel like to go from the Duquesne game where you were, I think, 1 for 9, then in the first half you struggled something. What's it like from your vantage point to be embodied in those kind of struggles for a guy who on offense usually is in that spot?
Mentally, there's no struggle. I think just telling myself, don't worry about it, keep playing, trying to make winning plays. I'm on a team where I'm one of the older guys, so just trying to focus, keep the guys calm, keep the guys focused is what I really focus on. I don't really think too much about the offensive lapses. I know that's going to come. I'm a basketball player. It's a basketball game. I'm not going to make every shot. I'm just kind of focused on making sure my guys are ready so that we can win the game together,
Is it kind of one of those situations where you really just need to see one shot fall and then that can kind of put you in a better direction?
I would say that. I mean, today, really, it was just trying to find my teammates, making winning plays. Had a couple of nice assists, and then I got to the free throw line, and then after that, I kind of just felt good,
Cam or Marcus, how much respect do you have for Robinson? How difficult was he to defend at times?
He's a very good player, very quick, and I got a lot of respect for him. He was a very talented, quick guard, so it was pretty difficult.
How do you have to defend? How do you have to change the way you defend when you're going against a guy that's 5'5" and he's so slippery like that?
You have to try to use, for me personally, you got to try to use your length to try to disrupt the ball. And he's quick, so you got to trust in your teammates. That's a big part of it. I had a lot of trust in Railu and Shamil and my bigs to help me if I did get caught up. So yeah, you got to guard them as a team.
What else did you know about Mount St. Mary's other than the fact that they were in the first 4 last year before you played them in preparation?
I think we knew that they had a lot of good shooters, and they were a very talented team. They can surprise a lot of big teams or like good teams. So they are a good team themselves. So we knew we had to come to the game focused and with more energy and not sleep on them.
This is a career high, 12 points, I believe. What's coming along for you with the more time you get, the more experience you get? And is your heel, was it at the beginning of the season, was your heel giving you problems at all? Or maybe it's kind of, healed up more at this stage?
My heel was giving me problems, but I think that didn't dictate how I played. I think right now I'm just kind of becoming more as a team. My teammates are finding me. I'm just finishing plays. So it's really just becoming comfortable in my offense. Nothing too crazy. I'm in the gym and I'm working. So my teammate's gonna find me. I'm just gonna have to finish the play. That's all it really is.
You guys have relied so much on Ryan and Millie so far this year. What's it say about the young guys that neither of those guys had a great night and they only got 7 points, but you guys were able to find a way to win, and it was the freshmen that came through and had big day.
Well, I mean, we work every day on practice on situations like that, close game situations, just tough situations overall in the game, and coach makes sure he does a good job of making sure that we're prepared for these kind of things. So even though we're young, we rep this out constantly, day in and day out. So I knew I had the confidence in the rest of my teammates, no matter how old or young they were, that we could come in and get the job done and pull out the win, because we do this every day.
Are you feeling pretty close to what normal health-wise can? I know we had talked with the heel bothering you a little bit earlier in here. Are you kind of at more of a normal point now where it's not bugging you as much?
Yep, I'm getting closer to 100% for sure. Feeling a little more comfortable. So I think I'm doing good. My rehab team is doing a really good job with me. So.
As I asked before you came, What other adjustments need to be made before your biggest challenge of the year in West Virginia here on Saturday?
I just think we need to tighten up. We know what to do. Our coaches coach us very well, and they give us very good principles. I think we just need to come to ourselves and come as a team and just tighten up the things we already know, and I think we'll have a good shot.
Jared, West Virginia is known, obviously, for their press, over the years with Bob Huggins. How's a game like this against a team like Mount that presses as well? How benefit does that give you going into the game?
Well, for one, they do press, but at the same time, it's still not West Virginia. Those guys are much bigger and stronger, so we don't really know. But it was good to definitely play against a team like this. It's something we've been doing a lot more in practice, too, to get ourselves prepared just for people overplaying, our half-court offense because we have so many different, intangibles to it. So we've just been practicing more pressure. Just, not specifically for West Virginia, but we are aware that that's coming. So it was definitely good to play against a team like this today.
Last question. Sorry for Marcus and all you guys. Just your thoughts on getting a nationally ranked team here and what the opportunity is for you guys on Saturday.
We take every opportunity to play everybody kind of the same. We know it's Division I basketball, so anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So we try to prepare with the same intensity and practice for every single team that comes in here or we go out to play. So every team is an opportunity to get one in the win column, so we prepare the same.
Just really love our team. We've got a group of guys that just have such a great fight and a great tenacity about themselves. I don't base my existence on this planet, and I hope these guys don't either, on whether or not we win or lose games. We don't really do that. We're really locked into our ability just to keep improving and loving the chance to play with one another and stay connected. I'm just really proud of our team, how they played today. On film, watching this Pitt team, I felt like they were really getting better game in and game out. They're well over 1 point per possession in the last 3 games, so they've really been able to score the ball well. So we knew we were going to have a great defensive effort to be connected today. We didn't make enough plays down the stretch, but I thought our team took a big step today. And I'm proud to be these guys' coach, as always.
There's an old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. How would you explain, that can explain the overtime? You were pretty cold in overtime in terms of shooting, but you got there with a hot shooting towards the end of the second half in regulation. How did your shooting die by the sword in overtime, but you lived by it in the second half? You guys were pretty cold in overtime.
Yeah, I thought the quality of the shots we were getting in overtime, we didn't do as good enough job of creating quality shots for ourselves. The guy beside me was creating open shots for guys, catch and shoot shots. In overtime, we took a bunch off the bounce. And so, usually Junior's the only guy that really takes a lot of threes off the bounce. And, I think he only took one, he might take one three or one pull-up. But, we kind of got out of character there in that overtime period. That might be part of our youth, but that's just part of it. We're going to look at the film. We're going to get better at executing. And I got great confidence in our team that, when we get to the end of the year, we're going to be one of the best teams executing under 4 minutes in the country, and that's what we got to work towards.
You held Ryan Luther 4 points. It's obviously their best player. What worked well against him?
Well, he's a really good player. And, I think he came in as like a 3-man, and now he's a 5-man. So, but he's doing a great job, and they do a great job of utilizing him in his offense. He didn't score, but, he dominated the game. 16 rebounds for him. That's what you want from your best guys. You want your best players to be able to dominate the game in another direction if they're not scoring the ball. And he did that tonight. And so you look at his stat line, 31 minutes, 8 assists, 16 rebounds. That's a pretty good stat line for a guy who had a bad night, right? So, I think he did a great job. And he's obviously learned in his time here how to dominate games in other ways than just scoring or shooting, which is important.
Obviously, you all have a couple of freshmen that you're on this team, but how effective did you feel like your all's press could be against a team like Pitt that's so young and so inexperienced?
Yeah, well, I thought, our press is a developing situation, like it's on CNN or something. So, as we're getting used to it, with the 12 freshmen, that's a big challenging part, right? Is learning how to play defense in general, but then learning how to play up tempo. Learning when to take the gamble, when not to, when to be solid. So those things are all things that are learned, through the course of playing an opportunity. And our press has been getting better each game, dramatically, as we've been able to do it more in games and be able to do it. So I thought it could be pretty effective. One thing with Pitt, the way they space you out so much on the offensive end, you want to try to take as much time off the clock in the full floor as you can, so you don't have to guard all the all the action and stuff that they run there in the half court, which is going to be very good for them as they continue to improve and learn the ins and outs of that. So I thought our press was effective. Obviously 17 turnovers, but we need to create probably 2 or 3 turnovers in overtime. We just weren't able to do that. But we're going to continue to work, and we'll improve on that skill.
You talked about not living and dying with every loss, but you're 3-6 now. I mean, there's really good teams you've lost to, but how do you keep a young team from focusing on 3-6 and not the fact that you played Notre Dame and Georgetown and Pitt?
Yeah, I love them. And, I was telling someone earlier, it's teach, it's love, teach, learn, love, teach, learn, repeat. And we just keep repeating that every single day. Just helping them understand that, there is no moral victory. At the end of the day, if they're a win or lose, it's black or white. We're in a one-bid conference, so we got the opportunity to play for something really special near the end of the year, and so we've got to continue to stay locked into improving. And, what happens, early in the year, teams get so locked into winning and losing, and teams haven't even figured out what their team is yet. And so I just, I've been at VCU where we won a ton of games late in the year and we improved. So that's just always been our philosophy. When they come in summertime, we're building this philosophy of learning and improving from day one. And when they commit to us, we had guys sign with us last week, we just started talking about learning and improving, and we're just trying to feed them the right stuff every single day. I think if we continue to do that, when they come into our program, they have a strong expectation of what it takes. And now, we've had some success here, so they know, since the last time I've been here, we've had some success. So the guys know that it works. I don't treat them like they're freshmen. I treat them like the standard that takes to be excellent. And, they're doing a great job with that so far, and they're going to continue to do that because we're going to continue to support them. So it's real simple. It's a lot of love and a lot of accountability, but it all starts with love at the end of the day.
What do you feel like, Junior, both for you and your team as a whole, started to work so well offensively for you guys in the second half after kind of a slow first half?
Just ball movement. I mean, we were moving the ball greatly, getting great shots. We were driving the ball deep in the paint, making guys help, and so, I mean, that's probably what worked best in the second half.
You were going toe-to-toe, number 5, Marcus Carr. He's a freshman. You were someone as kind of a young guy who was playing big minutes. What is he doing well, do you think, or what did he do well tonight, kind of in his game, 23 minutes?
He's just being positive. I mean, he was really positive for his team tonight, and then he was just making plays. If you make plays as a young guy, I mean, nobody's gonna get mad at you. You don't really come in looking to make an impact, but when you do, you make a big one as a freshman.
What was the biggest adjustment for you playing early in those minutes when you were a freshman?
I think it was just the athleticism of the game, because my senior year or in high school I was more athletic than everybody else, and then coming here you have everybody's athletic, everybody's doing what I can do, so I had to find different ways to score, find different ways to set my teammates up, find different ways just to play.
Your stats, Junior, obviously speak for themselves, average about 23 points a game this season, but going into games, even these against major conference teams, do you feel like guys ever underestimate you because of your height?
I mean, yeah, it's been all my life, so I'm kind of used to it, but I don't really go into these games trying to prove a point. I try to go into these games to win for the guys that are in the locker room over there, because that's what matters most. My stats don't really matter to me. The win columns matter for me.